Alright, today we are going to go into another topic, mathematics. I want to look into indices. Okay, now actually you cannot go into something without knowing what that thing is all about. So let's take a look at what indices is all about. Now, indices are nothing more than, they are also known as what? Parts or what? Exponents. They are the product expression of factors of numbers. I come again. Indices are parts or exponents. They are the product expression of factors of what? Numbers. So let's take down. Indices are powers or exponents that are the products expression of factors of numbers. Okay, I see that indices are powers or exponents that they are the product expression of factors of numbers. Indices. Now, indices is the plural of what? Index. When you hear index, it is a singular of what? Indices. When you hear index, it's the singular of what? Indices. Okay. Now, when we are talking about indices is talking about parts, exponents. Okay. Now, we are going to look into the makeup of what? Indices. And then, that brings us to what? The laws of indices. It is the law of indices that will enable us to what? Be able to what? Solve problems. When you know a particular law, you don't what? You don't deviate. The laws make you to what? Know what to do at the right time. So let's take some certain laws that is in these indices that will enable us to what? Solve problems whenever we see indices. Okay. Now, let's say laws of indices. Laws of indices. Like I said, I think there are some laws that enable us to carry out the operation of what? Indices effectively. So these laws will make us to know what to do at a particular time, and then make us to recognize some certain changes whenever a question is given. These laws. Alright, so let's take, okay, there are three basic laws of indices. Three basic laws of indices. There are other laws, but there are three basic laws. Okay, so let's take law 1. Law 1 is known as multiplication law. Multiplication law of indices. I see there are three basic laws of indices. There are three basic laws of indices. So we are going to explore these three laws first. Okay. Now we have one. One is known as what? Multiplication law of indices. Multiplication law of indices. Okay. Alright. Multiplication law of indices. Now, It is this law that enables us to what? Carry out multiplications in what? Indices. And the law says that if two equal or same bases, if two equal or same bases is multiplied, if two equal or same base is multiplying, that the index, that what the index is what taking, the base is taken from what? The multiplication. Let's take that if two equal or same multiplying base, if two equal or same multiplying bases, if two equal or same multiplying bases are indexed, if two equal or same multiplying bases are indexed, you will see that you should take one of the base, take one of the base and add the indices, You will see that if two equal or same multiplying bases are indexed, take one of the base and add the word indices. This is the first law of what? Indices, multiplication law. Okay. Now, alright. So, what do I mean by base? Now, watch. If you have A index M, A index M times A index N. So this is what I mean by base. Sometimes I might have a number close here, and that number is what? That number is what? Coefficient. Now watch. For instance, let's end here. Let's say for instance we have 3A index 4. This number is what? Coefficient. This number is what? Base. This number is coefficient. This is what? Base. And this is what? Index or exponent. It's coefficient. This one I mean by coefficient. This is base. And this is power. This power or exponent. Okay, so multiplication law of indices is saying that if two equal or same multiplying bases are indexed, take one of the base and add the word indices. So here we have only the base. For instance, the base and what? The word index. So this was A index what? M times what? A index N. So A index M, the law says that since they have what? Same base, so we take one of the base and add what? The indices. This index, the two indices. So take one of the base A and add the indices M plus N. That is what this law is saying. Multiplication was law. Multiplication law. Okay, so this is the first law. So let's take the second law. Let's take the second law. The second law is what? Law of what? Division. Division law of indices. We have division law of indices. Division law of indices. Okay. Division law of indices. So this is law 2. The second law. The second law says that if two equal or same dividing bases, if two equal or same dividing bases are indexed, take one of the base and subtract the indices. That if two equal or same base, if two equal or same dividing bases, if two equal or same dividing bases, if two equal or same dividing bases are indexed, that is powered or are indexed, take one of the base, take one of the base. Take one of the base and subtract the indices. Okay, law 2 say that if two equal or same dividing bases are indexed, take one of the base and subtract the indices. But in multiplication we are told to add the indices, so you must know that. Okay, so this follows that A index m divide by what? A index n is equal to, look at, the two dividing bases are equal or the same. The two dividing bases are equal or the same. You see? Now, before I take this, let me continue with something. If two equal or same dividing bases are indexed, take one of the base and subtract the indices. Now, if not, divide and subtract the indices Now, if you have A index m, as I said, divide by A index n. Since the two bases are what? The same, or they are equal. If I have A index m divided by B index n, they are not equal. Now, since the two bases are the same, the law holds that you should take one of the base. Since they are the same, take one of the base, A index m minus what? N, and subtract the indices. So this is the law behind what? Division. Now, the third law is what I call the double index law. The double index law of indices. So I want to see what this law is saying. Double index law of indices. So this is the third law. Double index law of indices. Okay, the double index law of indices. Now, the double index law of indices is saying that if a base is indexed, in a bracket, you see, if a base is indexed in a bracket and also indexed outside a bracket, that the two indices are multiplied. I come again. That if a base is indexed in a bracket and then indexed outside a bracket, that the two bases are multiplied. Okay. So if a base is indexed in a bracket, and indexed outside a bracket, you see, and indexed outside a bracket, the two bases are multiplied. The two indices are multiplied. The two indices are multiplied. That if a base is indexed in a bracket and indexed outside a bracket, that the two indices are multiplied. What does this mean? This means that if a base is indexed in a bracket, we have A index m, you see, the base is indexed in a bracket. Now, this same base also was indexed outside a bracket. So let's say all indexed n. So A index M in a bracket index what N. This is what the index outside a bracket, the index in a bracket. Okay, so this gives us that the law say that we should what multiply the what indices. So we are going to add that A is equal that A index M multiplied by what N. So this will now give us equal to what A M times N will give us what Mn. So this is what the third law is saying, that if a base is indexed in a bracket, and indexed outside a bracket, that the two indices are multiplied. Okay, that is this. Now, these three basic laws leads towards a number of important results. So we are going to look into what the results, what the number are. Now, these three basic laws. So let's take